So welcome back to this beautiful lesson number 5, if I'm not mistaken, or number 4. This one was quite of a tricky one, I'm not gonna lie, because we had initially entered and I took a 30 pip stop loss, which we actually had 100 pips initially. And it was a manipulation. So there was like 5 seconds before some form of volume would have entered. And I even said it to the group. Okay, so let's all check this out in a second. Right here. So I said, so I shared the trade. Initially, I thought it was going to be 40.60, the best possible price. So this was basically the chart. Not this one, sorry. This one right there. So this was literally the play that I was thinking about. Okay, the take profit was good. The idea overall was good. The storyline, everything was good. The entry is tricky as usual. And so what I did is that I said, never mind about the previous price. I'm looking to enter around 40, 46, same take profit, same everything, right? And so if we go on the chart here all together, we could see that 40, 46 was technically around here, okay? And this was maybe around 820. Let's see, no, 859. Stop loss adjusted, 30, yeah, around here. So the stop loss was pretty tight. The problem with this trade is that once I saw the volume, this was the volume where I even called it. There's like 5 seconds left. I'm expecting some beautiful volume and 5 seconds. So 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, exploded. We're gonna go on a 5-minute chart, okay, for us all to follow up this right here. So we had some volume, and then I saw, I wasn't sure because I look up to basically every time frame. And I said, you know what, let's get out. I'm going to reduce my risk. So worst come case, I'm going to have 2 bullet on that same idea because I know there's not many trade today left. It's going to be for Tokyo session, the upcoming ones. So I use one of my bullet minus 30 pips, and I said if I enter a second one, I'm going to have a tighter stop loss, so around 40, 45 pips, which would have given us 75 pips. Instead of initially, I had 56 as a stop loss. So it was somewhat 100 pips. So instead of 100 pips, I wanted to have 75 pips because you just never know, right? And so initially things went right for us. I said, you know what? I'm going to re-enter around 49-ish, 48.3. That was the price. And let's see right here, back in at the same parameters. And then tight stop loss. So we had 45 pips of stop loss, 10 to 1 risk to ratio. This is important. Very, very important. This was the great outcome of this trade, which I know typically most of the traders, when they miss out on the best possible price, so they get out with a small stop loss, it affects your psychology. In my case, with experience in some iteration and being busted down up and down from the market, you get a thick skin, so you just don't care about what happened previously, and then some sort of re-enter at the same possible price. I mean, the best possible price, which was 48.3. A tighter stop loss, which gave us the opportunity to have a 10 to 1 risk to ratio, which was a great one. Now the trade is great. Okay, so the lesson here was my partner said, Pawiz, what time do you think the trade will be likely to happen? I said 9:30-ish. There's a big difference between what you know and what you do, right? There's part of our brain that is completely biased with all those sort of outcome against our decision making. And the difference between both of what you know and what you should have do is such a fine art that we need to all work toward with it. And this is my lesson basically, is what I knew was around 9:30. What I did was that I entered around 8:30-ish, which is not typically the best timing when you know the best timing is 9:30. So once again, I entered early on. This cost me 30 pips. This cost me basically the way I manage the next trade. Although I don't want it to be affected on my psychology, there's a big difference here. But I let it affect onto my statistic because you cannot just have a clean slate and always trade the same way you trade, unless you're such a great trader and you have the track record and you have all the pips that you wanted to have. But that's a different discussion. But the point here is that and this particular trade, if I didn't had this early premature entry, I promise you this trade would have been completely different, the outcome. But it's okay. There's no excuse. Anyway, the take profit was at 4. And as you could see, it went slightly lower, so 4,000 ish, to finally go back up. The idea, it was beautiful. The management, beautiful. The problem with the straight was the early entry. So I'm going to make sure to refine this one, because this cost us basically the management of the second one. But overall, it was a great trade. We all did some profits. And myself, I did around 250 pips clean instead of 400 pips, which is okay. I'm glad. I mean, it's just Monday, so we have the rest of the week, which is good for us. And for the group was a great management, a great example of how to be strict on your rules, and on and on. So this was basically the lesson of today. Don't have premature entry when you know you shouldn't do, and there's a big difference between what you know and what you do. This is the fine art between decision making and also mitigating all the emotions and the biases. On this note, God bless you all. Beautiful trade for free. Link in the bio. You can all join us for free. The link is on the bio.